Hello, everybody. Sorry I haven't uploaded in forever, and I'm especially sorry that I haven't uploaded a storytime video in forever, but here I am with another storytime. A lot has happened since the last time I uploaded, but before I share things that's happened recently, I'm going to instead share an older story that I've kind of been wanting to share for a while now. Uh, it's the time that my English teacher, who actually might have been the most evil teacher on the entire planet. It's a story on how she got sent to hell. Now most of my story times, and a lot of my story times, I've talked about demons and cults, and a lot, and most of the time they're just pranks done by my friends. But like, this was different because we physically watched her soul get dragged to hell. So so it was fourth period English, right? It was the last period of the day. And this was awful because that means we had to end our day off with this evil bitch. And I had this friend, or I guess friend, I don't know. He was kind of an asshole, but I still talked to him. His name was Jeremy. And while we weren't really friends outside of class, like in class we were friends, you know. It was that kind of thing where like you're friends with them in class, but you don't really interact with them outside of class. It was that kind of thing. But anyways, basically the reason why we were friends and literally the only reason why we bonded was over our shared hatred of this teacher. And believe me, she was the worst. I mean, like, here's a couple reasons why. She would always assign like 15 graded assignments per class period, and all of them would be like 20 times harder than any other class I would have. Like, the work she would make us do was more work than any AP class I had. And keep in mind, this is like base level English class. Like, this is not honors or like AP or anything crazy like that. This was just a base level class, and she was assigning more work than an AP class. Like, truly, she was the antichrist of teachers. Anyways, so one class, she did something that truly pissed off everyone, right? So the class before that, she was absent, so she left a sub for us and all that, and she left an assignment for us that we had to do, and she made it the most unclear instructions for an assignment that I have ever seen in my entire life. And so we did the work we thought we were supposed to do, and so when we walked into class the next day, half of the class was missing half the shit we were supposed to do. And we didn't know we were supposed to do it. And the thing is, she was telling us that, and we told her that the instructions were unclear and they were stupid, and she basically just hit us with that, "Nah, I did everything perfectly. Y'all are just stupid." Now, clearly that's not what she said, but that's basically what it felt like she said. So, at that point, this was like, like 3 quarters in. This was like so many bad grades because the amount of work she would give us, and I was so tired of it. I was at the end of my rope. So I was just like, fuck it. Let's do something. Literally anything. Just anything to get back at her. So I went to my friends for help. And like many times I've explained on this channel, my friends are the biggest pranksters in the world, and they tend to do pranks a lot. But their favorite prank that they still do repeatedly, often, in recent times especially, is the whole cult worshipping thing, where, like, I've explained it in 2 other videos, my Super Bowl party and the whole fake date video. And basically, if you don't know what it is, basically my friends, they just, like, basically lead someone on into a certain area and trick them into thinking there's like some sort of cult ritual happening, and it's supposed to scare the crap out of them. And then they sometimes do something where like they like torture the person who they're doing it to or whatever. I don't know. So this time was like this time period, for reference, this was like right after the whole fake date thing. which was the first time they did the whole cult prank thing. So this would be the second time they've done a prank like this. So this was also the first time I had ever been on any type of like major prank like this. And because I had become friends with this Jeremy kid in my class, and he just had so much hatred for this teacher that I decided, you know what, let's invite him onto the prank. Um, Big mistake. So me and my friends went out and bought all the materials we needed. And an important note I'd like to add is that Jeremy didn't join us in our shopping spree. He just texted me saying that he would get his own materials for the prank. And I thought nothing of it because, like, a couple reasons. One, he did live pretty far away from the rest of us, so it kind of made like a little bit of sense. But the main reason I added this details because it will be important for later, so just keep that in mind. So we sneaked into the school at like 4 a.m. and my friends and I brought our materials, and it was like kind of the cheap stuff because we didn't, like, first of all, we were a bunch of high schoolers. We didn't really like have like that much like money. And also plus it was kind of last minute, so we kind of just bought the robes, the candles, and the red paint. But Jeremy, on the other hand, he brought a lot of materials, like well more than we did. Like he brought actual fake blood, and he like brought, or at least we thought it was fake, and he brought like a book of spells in, and it was completely in Latin, and like a whole bunch of other stuff. I'm pretty sure he also brought like salt or some other stuff. It was crazy. Um, so we kind of thought nothing of it. We just snuck into the school, and um, and quite frankly, it was really easy because like our school was really shitty. So yeah. So when we got into the classroom, like Jeremy started getting really bossy about like where shit would go and like how to paint the blood and stuff, and quite frankly, it kind of sucks the fun out of it for me. But I thought to myself, hey, he's just making it realistic to really scare the shit out of her, and it'll make her reaction better. So yeah, that was my mentality. I thought, hey, he's just doing he's doing it for us. He's making it a lot better. I was wrong. So when it actually came time for her to like come in, and like, you know, she's coming in and she tells a normal day, we all got into our positions. And when we got into our positions, I noticed that I couldn't find Jeremy anywhere in the circle. So, you know, I heard a gasp, and I turned around because, one, I want to see a reaction. Also, I wanted to find where Jeremy was. And I saw him slitting her throat, and I think that's probably the most graphic thing I've said on this channel. Hopefully that's my last. But anyways, yeah, I turned around and I saw him slitting her throat, and it was pretty shocking. I don't want to get too graphic, but like it took her a while to die. But you know, as soon as she was dead, we were all in shock. We didn't know what to do. We were just standing there with absolute pure terror in our faces, and then Jeremy screamed at us, "Quick! Get her to the middle of the circle!" So we quickly scrammed to pick up her body and bring it to the middle because we were in so much shock that we probably would have listened to anyone's instructions if they yelled at us like he was yelling at us. So we dragged her body to the middle of the ritual circle, and then he yelled at us to go get back into our positions. So what we did, he started opening the book and started chanting something in Latin that none of us could understand, and then all of a sudden I lost complete control of my body. I mean, I could still think, and I was still conscious, but I couldn't control my body at all. And what I mean by that is, like, my body started chanting the same words that he was chanting. And then all of a sudden, I could hear all my friends also chanting the same thing. So, I was kind of, I was scared. I think as most people would be. I couldn't tell if my friends were scared. I mean, I asked after, and they said they were shocked. I don't really know if they were scared, but they were shocked at least. And so all of a sudden, I just use my peripherals and I see that the floor is giving way beneath her. And you could hear the souls of the damned screaming as the floor opened up. And then I looked and I saw her soul leaving her body. And her soul was clearly trying to go upwards. And all of a sudden I heard Jeremy scream in Latin. And by the way, somehow my mind could somehow fully translate that in that moment. So I actually know what he said. He screamed, "He shall take what is rightfully his." And all of a sudden, a giant hand came out of the floor and grabbed her soul and started dragging it into the floor. Next thing you know, I'm unconscious. I wake up, and it's all my friends freaking out and screaming. So when I finally kind of like woke up a little bit more and I kind of like realized like what was happening, I realized that Jeremy ran off, and all of us were mad, confused. And what's weird is that like her body was also gone, and the only thing that was really left was the blood on the floor, which by the way was real blood. So what did we do? We booked it out of the school. We just ran off. We did the same thing that Jeremy did. We just ran off. And I think he did some sort of weird voodoo magic shit, because there was no trace of that ever happening. The only trace of that, like tying, like, the only trace of that being real is that our teacher was missing, like, and was never found at all. Like, not a single DNA, nothing about her was gone. She just went completely missing. I'm not entirely sure if we committed a crime or not, because, first of all, we were the ones who didn't kill her. It was all Jeremy. Second of all, we technically couldn't control our bodies during the ritual, so I don't think we are to blame for any of this. I'm genuinely starting to question if I'm a murderer. I'm just gonna gaslight myself into thinking I'm not. Anyways, that's the end of that story. So yeah. By the way, I've never talked to Jeremy. I've never heard of Jeremy since then. I think he's doing some shit for some unemployed collective or something. I don't know. Anyways, that's it for me. For now. I might start uploading more frequently again. I don't know. We'll see. But, yeah. Alright. Bye. Thanks for watching.
Theodore, I'll go through your basement door. Theodore, I will see the sun no more. Theodore, you stalk me like a dinosaur. Theodore, the devil's house I will explore. Theodore, I'll go through your basement door. Theodore, I will see the sun no more. Theodore, you stalk me like a dinosaur. Theodore.